Good afternoon, my name is Malachi Rangel and this is my culinary project on the famous Korean dish Bulgogi. Now, Bulgogi is one of my favorite Korean barbecue dishes and I was super excited to start working on this project. Bulgogi is my go-to at every Korean barbecue restaurant ever. So the ingredients I have down are 1/3 cup of soy sauce, some thinly sliced yellow onions, 3 tablespoons of white sugar, 3 cloves of minced garlic, 2 chopped green onions, 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds, a tablespoon of sesame oil, 1/4 teaspoon of Korean red pepper flakes. Now, I don't know the difference between Korean red pepper flakes and regular red pepper flakes, but I made sure to get the Korean ones just to be safe. A 1/4 teaspoon of minced ginger, but I sort of winged it because the mincer didn't like me today. And a little bit of ground pepper and a teaspoon of honey, but I messed up and accidentally put a tablespoon of honey. I don't think this made much of a difference, but just make sure to read the instructions correctly, guys. Now, the marination process itself was very simple and easy to do. It was just a little time consuming. After I was done with the marinade, I got the 1.5 pounds of sirloin and mixed it into the marinade, making sure to get all the crevices because the meat was so thin. I don't think I got all the marinade to coat the meat fully, but the end result came out great. You'll see me struggle here a little bit with the meat because it's so thin. It kinda stuck together and I wasn't really able to get as good of a coat as I wanted, basically. So it said to marinate or to leave the marinated beef in the fridge for about 24 hours, or about an hour. So I just went for the hour because I didn't really have the time to wait for a full day. Yeah. But to be honest, I think I should have left it in for more because although the meat was really good, I think leaving it in more could have brought out those flavors just a teeny bit more. So if you are thinking of making this dish, I highly recommend that you leave it in for at least the night. Leave it in for the night and it'll just make everything taste so much better. Not saying that I messed up and didn't do it right or didn't think it was good at all. I think it was amazing, but I think it could have been a lot better if I were to have left it in for a little longer. Just FYI. And so I am doing this process here. I didn't really know how to go about it. As you can see, I'm kinda just not winging it, but I'm sort of hesitant along the way. The ingredients seemed a little, how do I put it, lacking. I knew that these dishes were going to be very simple and didn't need a lot of ingredients, but I just thought that the ingredients themselves were not a lot and more, I guess, sparing than how I would think it would be. Like for these red pepper flakes, it was only asking for like 1/4 of a teaspoon, and I put in 2 because I thought it would be a little spicy because I like spicy, but I didn't get any spicy from it, which was a little unfortunate. But then again, it just goes back to how these ingredients are sort of lacking, in my opinion, personally. And this is my first time making any, I guess, traditional Asian dish. I've attempted many times before but haven't really followed through, or I just like stopped with a project, messed up pretty bad to where it was inedible. So working with something like this super simple was quite nice, and knowing that I had the ingredients next, or the list of increments next to me, was nice. And I sort of just took my time and went slow with everything to make sure that it was right. Even though I did mess up here with the honey, it was supposed to be a teaspoon, I put in a tablespoon. Didn't really mess with the dish whatsoever. I didn't taste any honey in the beef at all, and that's okay. So here I am with the beef. As you can see, it is really thin, and while I was stacking it on top of each other, I wasn't really thinking how to but kind of marinate it properly. Like I said before, it was sort of hard to get all of it into all the nooks and crannies because of how thin it was. I feel like if I took more time and did it a little bit more properly, I could have done it a better job. But as you can see, I'm kind of just flopping it around, and just like how I would a normal steak, let's say. And I don't think that was the best route to go. If you were to do this dish, I recommend going all the way, taking your time with it, get all of the sauce, all of the marinade into the beef, and just really get your hands dirty. So here I am putting it in the fridge for about an hour and a half. Again, I recommend overnight at least. This is my dog Nala. So after about that hour, I took a non-stick pan and turned on the stove to high. I chopped some yellow onion and I threw it in there for some extra flavor, just to bring out a little bit more flavor out in that pan. The recipe called for vegetable oil, but I forgot, and so I just had to substitute for olive oil. I don't think this really tampered with the taste of the meat at all, because I didn't taste any olive oil whatsoever, and I doubt if you use vegetable oil that you would also taste the vegetables in there, or the vegetable oil itself. Sorry, my bad. So a brief history on bulgogi. Bulgogi in Korean literally translates to fire meat and has been around since 37 BC. It was originally a royal dish called Maikjok. I'm sorry if I pronounce these or if I butcher these names really bad. I don't mean to offend anybody, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Again, I don't know the Korean language. I really love their food, and I wanted to do something more out of my comfort zone cooking with this dish. So I am so sorry if I butcher these names really bad. Back to it. This was a very simple dish with a simple marinade, cooked over an open flame and served by itself. What made it so royal though was because finding high quality beef during this time was extremely rare and only reserved for the rich and powerful emperors at the time. This then became a huge deal and eventually made its way to the Korean streets in the form of a brothy dish. This was called Sorium Mayok. This was a dish primarily in like a soupy broth that contained low quality or pork as a substitute to that high quality beef that the emperors were getting at the time. It was the same marinade, the same process of everything, cooking it over that open flame, just in that soupy broth. It's more filling. It's a nice touch to it, and I feel like the poor people in Korea that during that era were doing it good. They were doing it good. Like I said, it was the exact same ingredients and marination process, but with lower quality beef or pork. Now sometimes they sometimes use chicken. I don't know how that would taste at all. I know duck was another substitute, and I'm sure duck would have been great. I would love to try the duck, not so much the chicken. Just, I'm not a big fan of chicken dishes. So now way later during the Joseon era, Niobani was born, and that was just another bulgogi dish reserved for the rich and powerful because of how the beef was cut. It was a lot thicker and fattier than most of the cuts during that time, and again, it's the same thing, like it was just reserved, it was hard to find. Okay, now this was a super simple and easy dish, just time consuming, but in the end it was really good, and I highly recommend making this dish at home. You know, give it to your friends and family. It was just amazing. I highly recommend. Thank you for watching.